What's up guys, Mike, IronTrap Garage, and today we were working on the 39 Forgotten Hot Rod. Last episode we got the front clip installed and started working on some of the wiring, but we didn't have a driver's side headlight bucket, and we decided to upgrade the headlights in the front end. So Rob Ida sent us a headlight bucket. It is somewhere in the car. Thanks to Rob. He's working on a pretty killer 39 right now, and he had a spare in his set, so he sent it to us. And we also picked up these cool retrofit reflectors. They'll use a H4 style bulb. So I'm gonna work on putting these in today, wiring up the front headlights, getting the headlight switch wired, putting the voltage regulator in, wiring up the tail lights, and a few other odds and ends. So hopefully by the end of this video, basically all the wiring on this car will be done, minus a few like the horn and a few things in the dash. But other than that, we should have headlights, taillights, brakes work. We have gas pedal. We can almost take it for a test drive. So let's get to work and see where we get by the end of the day. All right, figured I'd show off this really cool kit that Matt got. Some vintage ink. So it comes with these reflector housings, H4 bulbs, a plug with wiring, and a schematic to make it easy. So these things fit in pretty nice. I popped one of these in already. So I took the outside glass off. Move this wiring out of the way. Basically they just pop right in. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but yeah, popped right in. They might need to be adjusted yet with these screws, but they fit in nicely. Put the glass over top and it'll just look like it's still the original 39 headlights. You won't be able to really tell that it has halogen bulbs in it, but it should be straightforward. Put the plug on, connect our wiring. Gonna have to run a ground wire. I think I'm just gonna attach it to the bucket itself, ground it that way, and then it'll ground through the fender. But on that, I'll get the headlights wired and then move on to the parking lights and out back to the tail lights. All right, so we're working on the front end here still. We got the parking light out. It was not fun.
Really bad.
Really bad. So we had to ground the headlight to the bucket, and then we also had to run an extra wire. I have to get a ring terminal for this, but I checked continuity between battery post, headlight bucket. It is grounded, so we got that. I ran it inside to where we terminated the fuse box ground, so that's all good. So this side's wrapped up. I just need to put the headlight reflector and bulb in, finish up the other side, and Matt's working on the parking lights. I'm gonna move on to the back of the car, which is not gonna be fun. The wiring is kind of confusing and laid out strange. All right, so I started routing things through. I put a hole in the floor here with a grommet. This will all get wrapped eventually. These two wires, a third brake light, which we don't have, and the license plate light. Now, one of the things with these harnesses I want to point out, this one's actually labeled as left tail light, or park light, sorry, tail park. Now, the odd part is, on this harness down here, it's split further down, has license plate light. So we believe this harness was actually meant to run on the driver's side and around the back, but it just, where we put the fuse box, it wouldn't have been long enough. So I'm using the left park light for the license plate, and I'm gonna use the license plate for the right and the right for the left. So it's gonna get a little confusing, but as long as I keep track of just parking light to parking light, it should be okay. I got the wires under the car. I'm gonna start running them across behind the rear cross member. There's a brace on the frame, running along that. The wiring for the tail lights are in good shape. Just gonna cut them back, connect them in there. We're gonna pull the buckets out and sandblast them so we have a good ground from the bucket to the fender, and then the back end of the car will be done. It should only take what, like 7 hours to do those little things?
Yeah, we should probably mark for the future person that owns this, so they're not confused with the wiring.
I must say, this wiring harness is nice, but it would have been so much easier to just use a fuse box.
From scratch, yeah.
Totally. Oh well, we learned our lesson.
We just gotta make sure we mark at the fuse box and maybe on the wiring, so poor guy doesn't go to diagnose his car.
License plate light? Why is it to the tail light?
Yeah, so we need to mark that for sure.
He's gonna get a cut sheet of like all this random stuff that's to the wrong place.
Yeah. All right, so we had to fight to get these marker lights off.
I have the whole car wired, and you're still working on the front of this.
So Mike failed, so he waited till I got back, and then had me do the crappy work.
I'm smart.
So Mike took the 2 screws out here, but this outer bezel was just like welded, almost felt like it was welded to the lens. And of course, the screws that held it to the fender were also frozen. So I had to get in the back underneath the car, grind and extract the screws from the inside. Then I used this handy, I've showed it in a bunch of episodes, but this is a little aircraft pry tool that's made out of 4140. Super handy. So what I did was I worked my way in between with this and some croil, and we were able to separate. And this is why this thing didn't come apart, because it slips over the outer edge there. And look at yeah, not in great shape here, but they're solid. It's just a bunch of corrosion and
mainly they're probably chrome at one point, so a lot of it's just like the chrome plating coming off.
So we already did the other side here that I blasted and cleaned, and I'll spray some paint on the back side and on the inside. But mainly we're blasting them because this helps get a ground for the bulb. So if it's all corroded like this and we just put it back on the car, we'll never get a ground. So
let's have numbers on it.
So we're gonna get some additional some new bulbs just to be safe, because it's barely in the budget for this car. But I'll blast this, get this cleaned up, and then we can put these lights back on.
I'll buy you some new light bulbs, Matt.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll chip in.
All right, perfect. All right, so after some fighting, Matt here, we got everything all clean as far as the buckets go and the ground connections. We had actually this one here, the little Bakelite piece, right when we were trying to put stuff together, broke on us, so we had to steal a little bulb holder from another 39 bracket that I had, bucket. So we got both of those in. Unfortunately, I messed up, and when we went to the store, I got totally the wrong taillight, or the wrong bulbs for the taillights, and they don't work, so I have to run back. But that's all wired up. We worked and got scavenged around. We got the hood off right now. Scavenged around, and we're able to save these original front turn signal buckets. We got amber lenses because or amber bulbs because the lenses are clear. And Mike got the headlights all put together. So big shout out to Rob Ida. He saw my post looking for a bucket, and he has a 39 Deluxe project that he's working on. That's like a long-term project. He had a bucket, and he was nice enough to send it out for free $99, which was really great. Love it. Thank you, Rob. And we got this all put together. Mike put the little halogen kit in, as you guys saw, and we're ready to go. We did this test earlier before we shot this, and they didn't work.
They're on?
Yeah, we got headlights. And we couldn't get any lights to work. Why was that, Mike?
Someone, I won't say who, forgot to plug the weather pack connectors
that are down here.
We spent 20 minutes trying to figure out why they weren't working.
Yeah, Mike's like, is the battery dead? Is there a parasitic draw? I'm like, no, goddammit.
I was just trying to think. I didn't think I forgot to plug them.
We forgot to plug it in, but we do dumb stuff like that all the time.
All right, so this is turn signal.
So that is, we're just jumping the wires, but you can see we got the passenger side. And
driver's side.
He's just jumping in here.
All right. Yeah, this wiring harness is set up for like a GM turn signal stalk. So like it's got all these strange connectors. We're gonna cut a bunch of this out.
That's headlights, sir.
No, I grabbed the wrong one. I'm talking and dropping stuff. I think that's
it's been one of those days. All right, there we go. Left front lights working.
There we go.
So that's what we have for this so far. We got the headlights wired. We got the front.
Oh, the license plate in the back too. I got to test the running lights. We can test that.
Go ahead.
Let me see if I can find it.
So we got all those wired up while Mike's figuring that all out. We found the original turn signal stalk that was in the car that we took apart. We found that originally, and actually has decent wiring on it. So next video we got to work on pinning all this out and getting the turn signal all figured out. Then we can wire it in with this fuse box. Honestly, I would say the Speedway box was kind of overkill for a basic kind of hot rod like this, bare bones. So I would probably not use this again, but we're already this far.
Well, let's rip it all back out.
Yeah. So Mike's got the he went through the tag light.
And it should be the rear parking lights, but our bulbs.
Yeah, I got the wrong bulb. So there's lots of fails today. Check out the cool 58 plate on this thing still.
Ready?
All right, go ahead.
Nothing?
I don't see anything. What's going on here?
Maybe this is the wrong wire. I got like 8,000 wires to choose from in here. This should be it. Should be the parking light.
This is the guy that's running all the factories in the United States. The guys like this.
Oh, this one.
Electricians.
This one. Can I have that?
Running the
pair of
world.
Dykes?
What do you
Come
want
on,
to
Dykes. I wire way more complicated stuff for a living. Leave me alone. I'm not used to this complicated, easy stuff.
Yeah, complicated, easy stuff. We're waiting.
Ready?
All right, go ahead. Hey, there it is.
Look at that.
Got
I had to grab the other gray wire.
All right. So, yeah, so we just got to get bulbs in the rear, but that tells us that we got our parking lights should be working once we throw some bulbs in, and we're doing pretty good. Mike did most of the work. I just blasted and cleaned some stuff.
Oh, I had to run, lengthen the wiring for the fuel sender, so we can crawl under and hook up that and the ground. That'll work. We have to swap out a fuel gauge because the 3-gauge panel does not have that. But Matt has plenty of fuel gauges on the shelf.
Yeah, so we'll get to that, but we got the wire all run and set. So we are moving along. We're gonna button this thing back up, and once we get the bulbs in.
The biggest thing is just inside wiring, really. The turn signal stalk, and then finishing up like the last of the accessory stuff on the inside. A lot of this stuff is just gonna get wrapped up and put to the side because honestly we're not gonna be using it.
Yeah, I shouldn't have bought this harness, but so that's it. So what do you got to say, Mike? Mission accomplished. This took like all day.
Automotive wiring is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it takes forever, but hey, we got it. It's good. We're moving along.
Progress.
This thing is just about ready to hit the road soon, sort of. So we're gonna get glass here next. We're gonna put it up on the lift after the 34, which is under cover. We're gonna put that up put the 39 on the lift once we get the brakes done on the 34, and we can just finish up any stuff on the underside of the 39, rust proofing, undercoating, all that good stuff. Get the glass in, ready to do burnouts, or at least cruise this thing back to its grave. So thank you guys for watching. As always, we do videos Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays, sometimes Wednesdays. You never know what's going on. Thanks, guys. Catch you later. Bye.